So just a day after releasing my video, EToH already released another big update to the game relating to Steelspire Horizon. This is actually my fastest growing video out of any of the stuff on my channel so far. I did not expect to have to make another situation video just immediately after, but I did. 4 new towers got added to Paradise Atoll. Yeah, so one of them is Tower of High Power, you can see right here, not the greatest quality. Another one was Steeple of Undersea Voyage, and then there's 2 hearts. And this is probably the biggest update we've seen to any area that's already been released, besides the lobby revamps. I kind of just wonder if it was because of my video or not, considering there's some staff that have replied in the comments, such as Current Tricks. I talked about him in this video a lot, and this video attracted a lot of negative comments compared to the rest of them. So first we had Steeple of Undersea Voyage. Because of Tower Fly High moving up to hard difficulty, this would have been my preferred pick for Steelspire Horizon. And I got to see it get in, so there was like 6 contenders for medium if we factor in the difficulty change to Fly High. And to see that 4 of them got in is actually a very big surprise. We don't normally see that much of a competition pool put in game, especially for something that large to begin with, which I think the Steelspire Horizon competition pool is actually one of the largest we've seen for the game, so probably not the craziest thing for there to be, I guess, now 21 new things being added to the game. I don't think we've ever seen this many towers get added in a single year before. Speaking of how much stuff gets added, I was actually doing a bit of research, and I found out that there are 13 projects by Gammator in game. Gammator has added half of his projects in 2025 alone. If we look at all of his projects here, Motion Evolution, Trivial Resentment, Absolute Vexations Revamp, Noticeable Infuriation, Tower of Traps Revamp, Tower of Madness Revamp, that is 6 of his 13 in-game projects in just 1 year. Seems a bit unfair, doesn't it? I don't think we ever see other creators that aren't staff get this many of their projects in just a single year. And another staff member, Ty, also known as, I don't even know how you pronounce that, they also have 4 out of their 10 projects come from this year. So Steeple of Zip Zap Pop, Tower of Vivid Sections, Tower of Buttons Purgatorio version, and Tower of Fixture Park. That's 4 out of 10 projects. We also have Adri, who went from a single project last year, being some involvement in Tower bonus level, to having 5 projects. So he has Steeple of Sunken Kingdoms, 2 tower revamps, and the newly added Steeple of Undersea Voyage. We also have Plant. Plant went from nothing to 3 tower revamps. And I don't think we've ever seen this many staff, or close to staff, people gain this many towers in a single year. And it's like, okay, there's been a lot of new contributors to the game. There's even been a lot of new staff members to the game. But you notice that in the end, it's still mostly the same people getting stuff in. I mean, you'll notice that mostly the same people kind of stay around for years and years to still get stuff in, like Gamma, who's the owner. So much for complaining about Juke having her self-insert projects when you've actually done it a lot more than she ever did. The rate of you adding your own stuff to the game is far beyond what Juke ever did. Sure, you might be building faster, but the actions of how much you've been adding is where the problem sets in. Is it really fair that you get to just add how much you want? You get to just throw your revamps in without anyone else questioning it? When Tower of Blooming Ledges was revamped, you made Goose make a bunch of changes, along with a few other developers, like I think Nova also made Goose make some changes. But do we ever question, has anyone else ever questioned your projects? No, they haven't. What about the other staff? Whenever we got Steeple of Waterfall, you're letting something that was kind of dated. I mean, we had a lot better Steelspire Horizon contenders that could have gotten in, but didn't. I mean, I guess it's all about the theme of Paradise Atoll, huh? But if the theme was such an issue, then what about Steelspire Horizon only having 1/3 of its towers connected to the theme of this area? What about the fact that it was supposed to be a beginner-friendly area, and then you added Fly High and 10 Floors Challenge? Is this really the staff team you want to see? But this isn't even the bad part. Let's talk about Tower of Wild West Variadad. This is a deconfirmed tower from Paradise Atoll that you are going to add. And let's see how unfair you remove this tower. And it's ironic that you do all of this because of a supposed crash out from Pineapple, but you decide to allow Zacro's towers in after he crashed out about Tower of Tea Time only getting second in Zone 10's polls. You're seriously letting that hypocrisy slide? Remember that Zacro was a former staff member. He was a curator. He was also a very well-known verified builder. It's not a coincidence when things stack up, is it not? Is this really the staff team that you want to see owning the game? All of this because of Pineapple crashing out over their tower not getting into Steelspire Horizon without even knowing that their tower was secretly confirmed for Paradise Atoll. Imagine the regret you'd feel because of how unfair the secretive methods of the staff are. And this will maybe give a lot of you people, whenever I release this document, you'll understand why Azite, the owner of Azzy's House of Soul Crushing Towers, is an atrocious owner, removing people's content without their permission and then trying to cover up the reasons. The staff member has already said that the page is allowed to exist, but not yet. But this is the page that was around before it got deleted. But basically, the tower got removed because there's some drama with Pineapple. She was mad that the tower didn't get into Steelspire Horizon without even knowing that her tower was secretly confirmed for Paradise Atoll. And just think about getting angry for nothing, then losing a tower for nothing, then getting banned for nothing. And then maybe you'll see why Azite is such a horrible owner of the game Azzy's House of Soul Crushing Towers. It's really sad just to see great work go to waste. But it's another thing to see community members go to waste. Is this really the ownership of EToH that you actually want? Is this really what we're going to keep putting up with for the rest of our time playing this game? We're such a dedicated community. Is this really where we want things to go? This isn't a time to just quit the game. This is a time to take action. And I know the document is going to come out soon, but it's not going to accomplish anything if our community just sits there and does nothing. I remember hearing about when the Lightsmith document released. I wasn't actually there for the release of it. I noticed that the document failed because he didn't get to the point. Now about the towers that did get confirmed, besides Steeple of Undersea Voyage I already talked about. Steeple of Waterfall, I just feel like the gameplay, it's not the greatest, but it's decent. But when you look at the rest of the competition, like we had what? Tower of Cosmic Wonders, Tower of Hidden Vestiges. I feel like all those were a lot stronger, but as usual, you'll see something that's way older than the rest of the towers gets confirmed as basically just an apology to their sort of BB friends that they didn't get their tower in way earlier. I mean, this got 25th in the Silent Abyss contest, and it's barely changed from that version. To think that this got 25th and then it got in, it's a bit ridiculous, because you're talking about 25th for what? 2023 standards? And this is 2025. It's been 2.5 years since the contest. Steeple of Waterfall was near the bottom. Think about what's in the bottom of this contest in general. Most of the stuff in the bottom region isn't even that liked for its areas, so to think that something all the way down here, not really what we wanted, is that in a game as prestigious as Eternal Towers of Hell, you need to hold some standards, and so if we don't hold the leaders of our community accountable, they'll just continue doing these things. If we don't do anything, it's going to continue to be this way, and so we need to take action. We need to protest, we need to call for change. If this EToH server wants to try to attack us for trying to express our beliefs, then we'll just find somewhere else. And then what will they do? You know, it's hard to say this, but we might have to move on to fan games if EToH can't change their ways. And you know, all we can do is just hope that staff team don't just completely private the game and instead hand it off to a new ownership that is actually going to be trusted by the community, unlike what we originally thought, because whenever we saw the ownership that we currently have take power, we were not expecting it to take a turn for the worse in the end. Tower of Call of the Day is pretty good. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it does fit Paradise Atoll unusually well. It's a really good hard difficulty tower, and it's got a very unique route of progression. And in Tower of High Power was like my second favorite difficult contender for Steelspire Horizon, because it's really well made. I mean, I still think Tower of TikTok till Twilight's better, but that was obviously not very fitting for Paradise Atoll. But Tower of High Power is really good, really solid tower. Even with Steeple of Waterfall not really being the best, it's still like slightly above average for the area's quality. Call of the Day, Undersea Voyage, and High Power are already all top 3 for the area, which is a really great achievement. But it also kind of goes to show that staff don't really care to add quality of life updates to make their stuff better in areas that need it.